All right.
That was fun.
And here we are back at Making Music. I'm again Jack Van Breen from Guitar Showcase, sponsoring of the show. And this week, given that we're recording in June, we thought we'd do a little Father's Day kind of thing. We've got John Epp and his son Jeremy, both of whom I've had the pleasure of knowing quite a few years in their connection with Guitar Showcase. And do a little father-son music there. It's kind of a hip little thing. On the fly, as it were.
Yeah, just like we used to back in the day.
Back in the day, exactly
yeah.
so. John has the distinction of being one of the longest-term teachers we have. I was going to say old, but as you can tell, I'm sensitive to that now.
Yeah.
But we have a couple. I think Jim Bruno's the only one who's been with us longer.
Yeah.
Tim Allen might be.
Yeah.
Of course, he takes those radiation treatments. He looks like he's still 12.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
How does he do that? Yeah, okay.
But John, when did you start teaching?
Well, yeah, I started teaching probably back in 1974 when I was in college, and I was helping some of my friends that were taking music classes and having trouble and struggling, and so I would help them with their music theory or just with different things like that. And I noticed back then that I actually enjoyed helping them, and they didn't bite my head off. I wouldn't say like weird things or approach it in a way that was made them uncomfortable. And I walked away from it feeling pretty good. So it just sort of escalated from that. I didn't really know at the time that I was going to be like a full-time teacher. At that point.
Yeah.
I knew I was a musician because my college education kept getting interrupted with touring and all this kind of stuff.
Oh,
so
cool.
But any rate, I started teaching at I think the first place I taught at was Maple Leaf Music on
Saratoga?
On Saratoga Avenue
with Bud Dimmick?
Exactly. I started teaching for him.
I took 1 month of lessons from Bud.
Is that right?
It's very educational.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
He was a great man.
But I started teaching for him. I went over to Saratoga Music and started teaching a day or two over there. And then Campbell, no, not Campbell Music, but there was another place on Stevens Creek. And I started getting phone calls like, will you come and teach for us? And I'm going, I'm just going, well, what's going on with this? Doors keep opening, and, I didn't understand what was going on. I was enjoying myself, and it fit nicely with my gig schedule. So.
Yeah, one of the things about teaching is you can jockey your schedules a little bit, which is nice.
That is very true. You're your own boss. So if you don't want to go to work, you just call yourself.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, in about 1975, 76, I moved my business to Curlin's of Music City, which was on Winchester Boulevard, right across from the Winchester Mystery House. At any rate, that was a great 10-year run. I mean, so what I did was I left the other places I was teaching because my schedule was just filling up. And being pulled in different directions and having my office set up in different places, it just wasn't working. So what I did was I just made an executive decision to teach in one place. And so I set up camp at Curlin's of Music City and was there for 10 years, actually 11 years. And then when the lease ran out and they mowed the place down, I called up my longtime friend Jim Bruno. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Well, you mentioned it at the beginning. Okay. Anyway, I said, "Yo, Jim, I've got 80 students and I don't know what to do." And he said, "Well, let me think a minute." So at any rate, I brought my students over. That was in 1985. I brought my business to Guitar Showcase, and
that was when it was in the house, right?
That's when it was in the house before the SMI building, where the swap shop and all that stuff.
Right.
I remember helping you sheetrock that room.
Oh yeah, well they didn't have a room for me, right? So I went into let's see, what was it, the kitchen or the bathroom or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
We constructed a wall, and so I ended up with a nice little studio, and I was there for several months, and then. They tore it down and built up the new building, and I'm still there.
Yeah, I remember I've been associated with Guitar Showcase off and on for 35 years, and so when you said the house, I went, just a second, Jewel Avenue, because Guitar Showcase started in a house a block from where we are located.
This would be the second house then.
This